Utah State, the home team, just about ready to get things started. Late night, Saturday night college football for a little Mountain West late night action here. Conference play is underway, and the first kick goes into the end zone. Just getting set here for this Air Force offense, all about the triple option. And we'll see who comes out to start this game at quarterback. It looks like that's going to be Josh Johnson. They run two quarterbacks, and really it's his arm that has kind of been the separator.
Yeah, we'll see both guys, Zarka and Johnson, but he has thrown the ball down the field. They both did, but it was against Bucknell, and it was against 2 weeks ago. So what will Air Force look like against a more formidable conference opponent? We shall see.
The question about Air Force coming into the season has been the inexperience at quarterback. 14 carries, 14 passes for Josh Johnson a year ago. He's the more experienced guy as he goes to a give right up the gut here, and we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
Air Force on offense, same old Air Force offense. They are going to bring it into the A-gaps. Cooley at center is their biggest leader. Dylan Carson is the dive man. Ultimately, that's who they'd give it to every time if it got yardage. And some receivers, including Cade Harris and Quinn Smith, with some big plays a couple weeks ago.
Well, it's Carson that's right behind Josh Johnson now for a team that is perennially one of the best rushing teams in America. And it's going to be a give to Carson. Has a little bit of a seam, able to push his way forward towards the first down marker as we meet this Utah State defense. Dylan Tucker able to make that first tackle. And Iguez trying to get that push up front, but Utah State bringing a bunch of transfers from New Mexico, where Bronco Mendenhall was a season ago.
3 of them in the secondary there, including Bobby Arnold and Avinger, bringing some leadership from what was an overachieving Lobo squad last year.
New Mexico was a possession away from a bowl game last season. This time it's going to be a keeper. Josh Johnson only needed to get about a yard, and it's going to be close.
Yeah, it was an interesting kind of route into the hole. He sort of bubbled to the right into the hole, and it was enough. They are moving the sticks, but for a moment there it looked like the Aggies were stout in stopping it. Carson Tujay was right in the middle of that.
Troy Calhoun has no problem playing this kind of football, 4 yards at a time, grounded out.
Well, that's what they want to do. They want to run clock. They want to limit the time that you're on offense to not expose their defense and maybe some of the athleticism that is lacking. They do it perfectly, and they've done it for decades.
This time a little misdirection. They go to the backfield and nowhere to go. Taken down back there. Cade Harris stopped well behind the line of scrimmage. William Holmes coming up to break up that play.
Yeah, William Holmes from the will linebacker spot. Lined up on the outside and just unblocked, and recognizing that did not bite on the inside fake, which was covered, and come down and tackles the Swiss Air Force knife that we talked about in the open, Cade Harris.
Holmes, a 24-year-old sophomore, has played everywhere at Utah State. Converted running back, showing off that speed for a loss of 6 on first down. This time the ball is fumbled and it's loose. Picked up by Utah State. It's Holmes on top of it. And the Aggies get it back on the opening drive.
First down, Utah State. On the 26-yard line.
Well, they love it here at Maverick Stadium. Just a fumbled snap, it looked like. Actually, the exchange was fine, but in bringing the ball around to make that pitch over to the left, he loses it. And what a great job by Holmes, who was in the backfield 2 plays in a row, to pick that up and convert it. Look for a quick strike moment here from the Aggies as Barnes takes the field.
Yeah, you give Bryson Barnes a short field, you feel like Utah State licking their chops in this situation. They come out in the pistol. Give right away, they go to Miles Davis. Trying to break it to the left side, gets to the 25-yard line, and Bryson Barnes, the star quarterback for the Aggies.
Absolutely. We talked about him just moments ago. Coming over from Utah, was here last year in kind of a quagmire, a transitional year. This is a real opportunity with Bronco Mendenhall to lead this team the way he wants to, running the ball and throwing the ball, and developing around the new offensive coordinator, Kevin McGivern.
Empty backfield for Barnes. Swings it over to the left side. Caught by Jacobs. Good running back who can be a big part of the passing play, and he is right there. And we saw excellent blocking on this play by Utah State all around.
Kahanu Davis, the wide receiver wearing number 7 out there, really is the guy that started this play off with some great blocking. Also the tight end, Brock Lane, making some pushes.
16-yard gain right away. They go to the left side quickly. Working is Utah State. We know Bryson Barnes and Kevin McGivern came over from San Jose State, finding that rhythm together here in week 3.
Javen Jacobs that time, the converted wide receiver and one of those transfers from New Mexico on the offensive side. Pretty exciting player along with Miles Davis in the backfield for the Aggies. They have a couple of very good backs and 2 or 3 very impactful receivers.
It's Jacobs back there now. Barnes gonna keep it, cuts up the middle. Barnes tripped up just shy of the goal line. Houston Hendricks saves a touchdown for now on 2nd and goal.
He's always a threat to run the ball, but especially in the red zone. That one goes for 7 yards. He sees it and he will take it. You see him just basically not even taking a step back, straight into the line of scrimmage upon taking the snap, and big opportunity to get a touchdown here on 3rd down. Air Force is coming in to substitute, and there's a flag down.
Illegal substitution, offense. 11 players broke the huddle, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that'll push him back 5 yards right when they got inside the 5.
You don't want to have that kind of procedural issue. Troy Calhoun's defense sent some guys in after they realized that Utah State screwed up the substitution. And communication and learning around the offensive coordinator, Kevin McGivern, is something we talked about. That's a costly penalty around the red zone. Let's see if they can overcome it.
3rd down from the 7. Barnes breaks a tackle, shifty move, and gets his way into the end zone for the first score of the night.
You just don't want to be in the open field with a guy like Bryson Barnes. Isaac Hubert, that time the outside linebacker, victimized on that beautiful cut inside. Penalty does not bother them. You see him identifying the mic. The little jab step to the right pulls the defense all alone versus Hubert one-on-one, and he ends up on his knees watching Barnes prance into the end zone.
Barnes can work that juke stick. That time works it for 6, PAT up and through. So 7-0 Utah State as they're able to convert on the first turnover of the season by Air Force here in their 2nd game.
Yeah, you see that jab step. Really 2 of them. The one to move the defense that was designed, and the one that just comes as Bryson Barnes is a natural runner with the football. Very impressive looking young man. Very muscular, put together really well. They say that he won't let anybody beat him in sprints or in the weight room. Uber competitive guy, and ever since he came on campus, his leadership has been evident. They love it here at Maverick Stadium. What a start. And we talked to Bronco Mendenhall about being able to start quickly against Air Force and their ability to eat clock and hurt you in that way. Forcing a turnover, scoring a touchdown, that's about the best start you could possibly have if you're the Utah State Aggies.
Well, and for Bryson Barnes, I mean, an outstanding runner. Got those 3 starts at the end of last season. And in that time, the only player in the country with more rushing yards than him was Ashton Jeanty, runner-up for the Heisman. It's Frew and Harris back to return again. 2nd kickoff of the game for Utah State. Goes into the end zone as Air Force will take over. And the thing about this Air Force team is all about that triple option and executing your assignment.
Nobody runs it better in the world. It's 3 guys, the quarterback, the dive man, and the pitch man. Everybody else is firing out or looping around and blocking. This one makes it all the way out to the pitch man, in that case, Harris. And it's just clockwork, very pretty. Coach Calhoun himself is the fullback coach. So Dylan Carson, Owen Allen, Terrence Gist, those are his guys.
And they run a ton. Up the middle, spinning his way through is Carson, who's able to gain 5.
This guy's their inside guy. He plays with power. He plays with passion. The greatest dive man I've ever seen play at Air Force. We've had the pleasure of watching him perform in the Mountain West was Brad Roberts. All of these guys, though, get into the line of scrimmage so quickly. They have the ball. You're not asking the offensive line to hold that block for very long, but you got to fire out and be physical. That's what they do.
They'll give him an extra yard, 6 yards. Another issue on the exchange. Goes on the ground, and a fight for it underneath. It looks like this one was saved by Air Force as Josh Johnson got on top of it, but some trouble early on.
Yeah, this is a real issue between Cooley and Johnson. You see them talking right now. The first fumble might not have been a snap issue. Maybe it looked a little bit more like Johnson pulling it and pitching it. This one, definitely a snap issue. And that takes Air Force out of their timing and creates a third and something they don't want to be in.
They ended up getting back to the line of scrimmage. Their rollout for Johnson's going to try to go to the air. Now keeps it, fights for that first down. Very close, trying to tiptoe on the sideline. That was Zion and Drayson with the pressure. And they're going to give him the first.
Yeah, they just bring him out naked. And we were talking to Bronco Mendenhall about this a lot. That is not a triple option play or triple option action. That's just play action off of a stretch zone on the other side. Johnson, pretty athletic guy, 6'1", 190, able to stride that one out, get the first down. They overcome the fumble on second down. Let's see if they can get their offense back on time.
It's Owen behind Johnson. Owen Allen, that is. Johnson will keep it, drops back, goes the air. Deep ball downfield, just past his intended target, Quinn Smith.
Quinn Smith thought that Bryson Taylor arrived a little early. Bryson Taylor holding on to that left hamstring after that. Beautifully run route, pretty well thrown ball. Taylor was not there early. It's just outside of that one-hand grasp of Quinn Smith, who had a reception for 40 yards last week. They're not scared to throw the ball downfield this year for the Falcons.
Certainly have big playability, showed it against Bucknell. Their one game coming off a bye is Air Force, as Owen Allen fights for a couple of yards.
And that puts them again into a 3rd and about 8 situation. That is not what they want to be in, despite their ability to throw the ball downfield a little bit more that they've shown early this year. That is not the bread and butter of what the Falcons need to do. They don't want to give the ball back to Utah State now. They need to keep this ball and keep running clock after that shock, sudden change moment earlier in the quarter.
So Owen Allen next to Johnson. Johnson looks over to his right side, incomplete. Cade through, overthrown, and that's a 3-and-out.
And he's overthrown the last 2 balls, not by a lot, but just enough to force this punt. Ball comes out of his hand pretty well, especially considering he's an Air Force quarterback. Frew, only 5'9", needed a little bit more longer cleats to get to that one.
So they'll punt on 4th and 8. It's Jacobs back to return. Utah State going to get the ball back, already up a touchdown in their home field. Freer, the punter. All Mountain West punter. And this one takes an Air Force bounce. That's going to trickle all the way inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line, where Utah State will get the ball back, up a score early, midway through the first quarter. 60-yard punt. Quite the journey for Utah State quarterback Bryson Barnes. Grew up Milford, Utah, was a walk-on at Utah State. The pig farmer ends up playing in 2 Rose Bowls for the Utes. But then, never felt like he got a real shot. Ends up at Utah State, transfers. Back up last year, gets the starting gig this year for Utah State. And off to a good start for the Aggies, able to convert on the first drive on a short field after the first Air Force turnover of the season. But now, much different story, backed up on their own 3 are the Aggies, and nowhere to go. Miles Davis brought down right around the line of scrimmage. Jalen Reese all over him.
Utah State with a pretty good looking offense this year, playing with a little bit of tempo. But a nice job on first down by Reese to force the longer second down as the Aggies are backed up. This is a big defensive possession for the Falcons.
Barnes has been sacked 12 times this year. They got to be careful with him as he's just able to get back to the one. Those 12 sacks given up by Utah State this year, the most in all of college football here in week 3 as Rawls Jr. comes up with the tackle.
Yeah, this was a miscommunication with Miles Davis. One went to the right, one went to the left. Barnes does what he has to do and just eat it. A nice job of penetrating by Rawls and getting through there, getting by Tavo Matu-Apuaka and making the play. Almost a safety. Big third down now for Air Force to pull their necks.
Especially considering the strength of Air Force is up front was Zadroik and Schwartz. Barson does have time in the pocket, now scrambling out of it. He's just gonna have to tuck it and go. He dives forward, well short of the marker, but able to avoid disaster. It was Zadroik who brought the pressure.
You gotta get a little bit of breathing room there. You can see Barnes and how much he can get those legs going. Showed a lot of speed. Zadroik, which is a great name, sounds like a comic book guy getting punched, is on the run there and does a good job of flushing him, and nice rallying to the football to prevent Barnes from making the first down by the Falcons defense, forcing a punt. That's big for them.
That's Cade Harris back to return, trying to give Air Force a short field. Punt's gonna go past midfield where he calls fair catch, but this drive will start about the 47 when Air Force gets it back after the 45-yard punt. Down a touchdown on the road in Logan, Utah. Utah State up a score on their home field in Logan, Utah. He's Petros Papadakis. My name is Trent Rush. Petros, we saw early on Air Force having a little bit of trouble with the snap, and the exchange already led to one turnover that resulted in a score, and now a change at quarterback with Liam Zarkum coming out to replace Josh Johnson.
Yeah, Josh Johnson under center with Costin Cooley, and they lost one of them, and the other one helped stall a drive. They plan to play both quarterbacks throughout, so I'm pretty sure that this is just part of their normal rotation. Let's see what Liam Zarka out of Aurora, Colorado, the sophomore, can do.
It's the third drive of the game for Air Force. The one fumble we talked about, give up the gut to Owen Allen, who works his way forward.
Hear those snaps with Cooley and Johnson. That one maybe more on Johnson. He had it in his hands to make the pitch. That one just looked like it went straight to the ground, causing a lot of trouble for the Falcons, and you see the frustration from Johnson now that Zarka's in the game.
Back to Allen on that triple option. This is what Air Force does. This is what they've been doing for a long time. 19 years of Troy Calhoun as the coach. But Liam Zarka, sophomore from Aurora, Colorado, we talked about, made his college football debut in the Bucknell game 2 weeks ago. Got a bye to reset. Now here he is.
He does two things in his life other than option quarterback. He's a pilot, and he loves pickleball.
He's got the P's from Petros Papadakis, and he pushes forward for a first.
And that's what the Air Force offense is trying to accomplish. 4 yards, 6 yards, 4 yards. Get into that third and short, fourth and short. Get that push. Low pad level, which is the entire key for their entire offensive line. Let's see if they can put together a few of those in a row and find a way to get on the board.
It's Allen and Frew in the backfield. Tight end in motion is Fleischman. Misdirection. Zarka goes the other way with it, breaks one tackle, fights his way through. It's past the 35, pick up of about 6.
Zarka looking a little bit like Barnes there, making a beautiful cut in front of the Mike linebacker, Bronson Olivao. And you see the downfield blocking. There's Olivao, 14, getting cut right underneath. That is a dramatic cutback from a quarterback and sets up exactly what they want, second and mid.
Troy Calhoun, head coach at Air Force, talked about his ability really to break tackles. That lower body strength so important. Second and 4. That was Frew in motion. It's me a keeper. Zarka's got the first down and plenty more to the 25. Avenger the tackle.
And at that point, they lead a guy who's used to carrying the ball, Owen Allen, through the hole to lead block. Watch number 2, and Frew, number 8, lead block all the way through, getting a hat on a hat and springing their quarterback for another first down. This looks like vintage Falcons offense.
The execution just so important. No team can afford to lose the turnover battle, but this Air Force team especially has to protect the football. They're so methodical, and we're seeing it right now. Zarka, this time a give, is able to find Allen, fights his way forward for 3.
I love this Owen Allen. He does a great job. Carson is their starter, but Owen Allen, we've seen him take over a game at that fullback position as well. We've seen him get 10 carries in the first half and then sit the whole second half. But they certainly have capable guys running that dive hole. And then, of course, Cade Harris and Cade Frew on the outside.
7th play of the drive. First 6 have all been on the ground. They keep it on the ground. This is push forward. Was Johnson that came in to quarterback, and it was Allen who was the ball carrier. Check that, Zarka stayed in.
Just great leg drive, that lower body strength you were talking about. And a 3rd and very short, and now Air Force has a lot of options. Sometimes they like to play action and gash you with a tight end or receiver. Sometimes they just like to get their push forward.
3rd and short, give to Allen, and he's got the first down. Met right there at the line, but looks like it's enough. Just muscling his way forward from the Diesel and the offensive line. That's their nickname.
Yeah, look at the pad level and just how they get down and how close they are into the line of scrimmage and how quickly the ball is into the line of scrimmage. You can really penetrate as a defense, and it doesn't matter because it's happening so fast that it's very frustrating for a defensive front knowing that they're going to be into your body that quickly, and they're gaining yardage.
Air Force pretty inexperienced except for 2 areas, the offensive line and their backs. This is a keeper for Zarka. Now he flips to the outside. It's over to Frew. Cade Harris, rather, and Harris ends up out of bounds.
And that was the true triple option. A nice job by the Aggies defense. Dylan Tucker stringing it out, keeping containment, and making sure that Harris was not able to hit that edge with his tremendous speed and escapability.
Harris, who had 3 touchdowns in the season opener against Bucknell. Career high for him. So we're getting down close to the end of quarter number 1. Utah State up a touchdown, but Air Force that's a young Utah State fan just doing his best Air Force impression right now. Keep it on the ground, methodical, work his way forward. Kind of like Petros on the freeways as well. Nice and slow, take it easy. And we're seeing this Air Force team dominate time of possession. They had the ball for over 10.5 minutes in the first quarter. Exactly how Troy Calhoun likes it.
I drive slower than I used to. But yeah, this is the best looking Air Force drive. But as the field gets shorter, Utah State's defense just got a little bit of a rest. Very important for them to try to finish this drive, especially with the way they started the first quarter.
This is Liam Zarka, the second quarterback of the game for Air Force, scrambling out of the pocket, throws, and it's knocked loose. Quinn Smith couldn't hang on, and boy, coming up for that, Brevin Hamlin all over.
Hamlin made a great play identifying where the throw was going to go and flying in and making that hit. Big, long safety transfer from Utah Tech. And he's a big tackler as well, but 6'5" guy out there, covers ground quickly and knocks that ball out. And this Air Force passing attack finding a little bit tougher sledding against the Aggie secondary than they did the old Bucknell guys 2 weeks ago.
Utah Tech, formerly known as Dixie State, down in St. George, southern part of the state. We're way up north in Logan tonight. Zarka back to throw through the middle. Good job in coverage by Utah State is William Holmes applying the pressure.
Williams Holmes has had a great game, had his first fumble recovery of his career earlier in the game. That time gets to Zarka. John Miller, the leader of the defense, who's emerging, transfer from Oregon State, also there. And that is exactly what the Falcons didn't want. First field goal attempt of the season.
This will be a 31-yard attempt for Jacob Medina, native of Chandler in Arizona. The kick is up, and it is through. So Air Force on the board. Utah State still up by 4, but Air Force on a shortish field, 53 yards, able to convert for 3. Good ball game tonight, Logan. Troy Calhoun's Air Force squad gets on the board with a field goal, 7-3 Utah State early on in this second quarter. David Jacobs back to return after a 12-play scoring drive. Only went 39 yards, only had to, before Medina converts his first field goal. Tubbs the kicker. I'm Trent Rush with Petros Papadakis here in Logan, Utah tonight for the conference opener in the Mountain West. The kick is up. It is a good one. Goes to the back of the end zone. Now, it has been an emotional week in Utah and throughout the country, really. Earlier tonight, a moment of silence held here for Charlie Kirk. The governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, is here in support of his community. Now, after the kick, appeared to be a little bit of a skirmish on the field.
15-yard penalty, first down.
And it's going to be a 15-yard penalty that is going to go against Air Force. So push up Utah State and give Bryson Barnes a quarterback.
Utah State half the distance being forced.
I take that back. All right, we got a little switcheroo up here. So it's actually against Utah State. So that'll push him back, where this drive will begin inside the 15-yard line, half the distance to the goal. Miles Davis is the back with Bryson Barnes. That's the 12-yard penalty and a much longer way to go. Last time Utah State got the ball, they were back on their own 3. They'll have a long way to go on this drive as well. Barnes is going to give it to Jacobs. Jacobs looking for something, has seen anything, and just able to work his way back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that penalty where somebody lost a little bit of their composure on the kickoff, that sets them back. Like you said, they need all the field position they can get in a field position game against Air Force. Trying to hit the perimeter there with Jacobs didn't work.
2nd and 10. Barnes rolling out, can throw on the run, delivers a strike that's caught. Brandon Pagan is up there, and Braden Pagan, the UCLA transfer, hangs on to that one for a first.
I was really impressed with Pagan last week against Texas A&M. Barnes rolling out, running with him, and finds that little hole over and under the 2 defenders right before Houston Hendricks could get there to make the play. Big first down and some breathing room.
Trips to the right for Barnes, able to flip it to Jacobs. It's really interesting, Petros, how they use Jacobs in the passing game. He's listed as a running back, but he can be all over the place.
Yeah, well, he's a former receiver. A lot of running backs, even though Miles Davis is actually a really good receiver out of the backfield, most running backs with the size of their pads and what they're kind of used to, they don't have the catch radius that receivers do, or tight ends. So a lot of the time, a ball that another guy would catch, the running back doesn't catch it. That's not the case with Jacobs.
Transfer from New Mexico, clearly Bronco Mendenhall wanting to bring him with him. 2nd and 5, another fired strike through the middle. This time Brady Boyd there for the first down.
And this is an issue for Air Force. We saw Bucknell throw the ball underneath, dink and dunk a little bit around this Air Force secondary. They have 5 sophomores, a lot of inexperience in that secondary.
Barnes trying to pick it apart again. Pressure comes, throw downfield, goes out of bounds.
Big hit there by Luke Fisher, who is their best defensive player, I believe, best established defensive player. This is how you try to slow down that passing game if you're getting beat in the secondary. He takes a big shot right under the ribs of Bryson Barnes. Maybe make him think twice about standing back there for that long again, but Barnes is a tough cookie.
2nd and 10. Surger in motion. Barnes gonna throw it downfield. He's got his man Pagan. Pagan all the way to the house. 54 yards. His 2nd career score puts Utah State up by 10.
You end up in a man-to-man situation and get caught staring in the backfield, which is exactly what happened to Roger Jones Jr., one of those sophomore secondary guys that we were just talking about. The inexperience hurts Air Force and pays off for Utah State as Braden Pagan looking like a world beater at wide receiver for the Aggies.
The California native, Orange County, has made his way to Utah State. Tanner Raker converts. How about this play? Barnes all alone. Pagan says, see you later.
Aggies with a lead and Pastoral Logan. And look at this beautifully designed play by Kevin McGivern, the OC. You got Pagan, the receiver, in a one-on-one matchup against Roger Jones, and the safety is very far away looking at that tight end. Jones gets caught staring into the backfield. It's an easy pitch and catch to Pagan. Even though the ball was behind him a little bit, it didn't have to be that accurate because he was that wide open, creating that one-on-one matchup with the safety so far away. One of the specialties of Kevin McGivern.
All right, it's a game we have all been looking for. Philadelphia, Kansas City, Super Bowl rematch. Saquon leads the defending champion Eagles against Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs. America's game of the week tomorrow, 4 Eastern. On Fox. Then how about 2 Aggies getting together on Thursday Night Football this past week? Green Bay won the game. Jordan Love, couple of touchdowns. Bobby Wagner, former Legion of Boom, 11 tackles. Future.
Couldn't be happier if it was Chucky Keaton out there.
Zarka's going to keep it. Ends up picking up 5 yards. Olfeo, the tackle.
So what can Air Force do now that they've seen that Barnes is 5 for 6, 114 yards, really feasting on that inexperienced secondary? They can grind it out and try to cool him off on the sideline, create one of those long 10-minute drives. Let's see if they can do it. That's a nice start. That's exactly what they want on first down every time.
Zarka has come in and has changed this offense for for Air Force. This is a gut up the middle to Dylan Carson. Able to get a first down, and you know this Air Force team has no problem with a long drive. They're the best at it.
That's exactly what they want. They want to wear down your defense and cool off your offense.
Time of possession just insane for Air Force since 2018. It's Carson, last ball carrier, backfield now. He gets it again to the 40. Dives forward for 5 yards. They're working 5 yards at a time right now. This is perfect if you're Calhoun.
And you talk about how important time of possession is to them, and it always is important to them because they're trying to protect their lack of athleticism on the defensive side, particularly in the secondary. But with the inexperience this year, it's even doubly more important.
Second and 4, pitch, right side to Harris. Harris has a seam. Harris, just one man to beat, turns on the Jets, pushed out of bounds inside the 10 as Dylan Tucker was able to track him down, but a big play by Cade Harris.
What great blocking up front that you're going to see from Air Force. Nice wall off there, and Harris, I love how that pitch was right into the line of scrimmage, getting him momentum headed to the line of scrimmage, and that's really what sprung him. And only 5'8", really showing his speed.
49 yards that last carry, now back to Carson on 1st and goal. Gains 4 yards.
Now it's very important in a game where the Aggies are scoring touchdowns for Air Force to find their way into the end zone. Last time they tried to throw their way in and forced a field goal.
That was Frew, who is beginning his motion for a change of play from the sideline. Carson right behind Zarka, the quarterback. Second and goal to Carson. Bullies forward for 2. Third down coming up.
You want to get about halfway there in the short yardage situation if you're running. And he did that. He got about halfway there. What does Mike Thiessen, the offensive coordinator, 19th year in the Air Force program, have up his sleeve for this one?
It's Frew to the left. Allen right behind Zarka. Zarka the keeper. Zarka trying to work his way forward and runs into the Aggie defensive front.
John Miller, transfer from Oregon State, a tough dude. 6'1", 225, but plays up into the line of scrimmage. There he is, number 20, bouncing off that block and getting a hat to the chest of Zarka. And they are going to go for it. They like that extra hat with the quarterback, got a little bit of a push.
Will only need to get a little over a yard.
Utah State, first charge timeout of the first half.
Nick Howell, the defensive coordinator for Utah State, is going to set up a game plan here. Air Force, a little over a yard away. Big game. 4th and goal for Air Force. 9:09 left here in this opening half. Utah State has a 14-3 lead at the moment, but Air Force trying to cut into that. And it's going to be the Diesel, the offensive line for the Falcons. Troy Calhoun, head coach of Air Force, has seen his team convert their only other 4th down chance this season. It's just their 2nd game coming off a bye.
Alert quarterback run here from Zarka. That gives you an extra player to block.
It's Allen behind him. Play fake, rolls to the right. Zarka to the end zone. Touchdown, Air Force. Liam Zarka's first career score.
Well, I love the idea from Mike Thiessen giving Zarka a 2-way go with the misdirection and rolling him out to the right, and he's got Cade Harris running with him. Harris is open, but Zarka sees that he can cut up and make the play without putting the ball at risk by throwing it, makes the right play, and the gamble for Coach Calhoun pays off.
PAT up and good, 14-10. Utah State up 4 on their home field. But the Falcons fighting on the road, dominating the skies and the ground. Air Force back in business. The Herd feeling good. Their team is up, and Air Force coming out their first touchdown tonight. 14-10, 9:04 to go after an 8-play, 75-yard drive for the Falcons. Took just about 4 minutes. Everything on the ground. And that is what Air Force does. Big play by Cade Harris, really setting a lot of that up.
That's what did it. That pitch to the right to Harris, and really displaying that speed. And again, I love how he's right up into the line of scrimmage, receiving that pitch, almost scoring.
Zarka was the one able to finally punch it in. Kick goes into the end zone. Utah State first-year head coach Bronco Mendenhall, but no stranger to the sidelines here in Utah. For so many years at BYU, dominated in the Mountain West, won a couple of conference titles, goes to Virginia, ends up taking them to the Orange Bowl. Retired from coaching, came back out to go to New Mexico last season.
That was miraculous, the winning 5 games with that New Mexico team. He's got a mother in ill health and family here in Utah State. Family is his foundation. Said it was very hard to leave New Mexico, but it was the right thing. And they're very comfortable here in Logan.
This is Miles Davis shaking a tackle. Getting up close to the 40 before Nick Beckwith brought him down.
Miles Davis is a really great story. We saw him a bunch at BYU, but he never really took over as the feature back. He looks like that here. He's changed his body. He's gotten more comfortable with contact, and he looks great in the early part of the season. Trying to go a little fast, might have bit the Aggies on the behind.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's still something that they are working on. That's Junior Sia, who's starting for Trey Anderson in this one. Still trying to work the communication at the line of scrimmage. Gave up a lot of sacks last week to Texas A&M. New offensive coordinator, new coach, a lot of different moving parts for the Aggies.
Casher's out at one point. One possession, 3 straight sacks of Barnes. They go back to Davis, trying to get to the original line of scrimmage. Jones tripped him up. Miles Davis, not to be confused with Jazz legend, Miles Davis, but did transform his body and his physicality.
Yeah.
Maybe the same way the other Miles Davis transformed.
Kind of like
Jazz.
the hard bop to the cool Jazz era,
Yeah, a little
perhaps.
bebop, yeah. Javen Jacobs.
You don't know about Dizzy Gillespie.
What are you talking
Charlie
about?
Parker.
Louis
Back
Armstrong.
up. That's not bop.
Barnes taken down to the backfield. There's that push up front. Air Force's Jackson Adams got to him. 13th sack of the season given up by this Utah State offensive line.
That's huge for Jackson Adams out of Centennial, Colorado. His 2nd sack of the season. Getting back there around the edge. And that is Junior Sia, who just had the penalty. 3rd and very long. Can these good wide receivers for the Aggies pull them out of this?
Tight end Brock Lane also just came off the field, hobbling. Barnes trying to shake out of a tackle, but he is tripped up and dropped by Isaac Hubert.
Isaac Hubert has been not a surprise, but an early performer for Air Force. Had 2 big sacks against Bucknell a couple weeks ago. Used to be a fullback, and they moved him to defense. This time, getting to the legs of Barnes before he could get going. Huge stop by the Falcons.
Their 2nd sack of the game. They had 6 against Bucknell. That's an FCS team. But 2 already here in quarter number 2. 1 drive. It's Harris back to return. Fair catch is called at the 28. This is Miles Davis. It sounds a lot like Milestones, I think the song.
We're going to have a long talk about Jazz.
Air Force has the ball back down 4. 6:35 to go in this first half. Troy Calhoun, head coach at Air Force, but he's an Air Force icon. Not just in his time as coach, but back there as a player, former quarterback in the day.
He understands it, and I don't know if you could have a guy that doesn't be the head coach at Air Force. He knows what these young men go through.
So much success for this program. I mean, if you're not Air Force through and through, he could have gone anywhere, but he stays here, and he's got cadets with him. I mean, he's got guys that have been part of the Air Force Academy for a long time on his staff and his program, to the tune of having both coordinators, also former quarterbacks, only team in FBS alumni head coach, offensive and defensive coordinators.
They have a special way of doing it that very few can relate to at this level in the sport.
Keeper for Zarka. Gets to the 36.
It looks like they're happy sticking with Zarka. Remember, the first 2 drives, a fumble and a punt. Zarka comes in the last 2 drives, field goal and a touchdown. And that is very impactful because Air Force is not a team that wants to play from behind. It doesn't feel like they're out of control in this game, but they certainly are playing from behind right now. This is a big 3rd down. See what they pull out.
8th of the game. They've converted 4 of the first 7. Zarka with the give to Allen. Boy, it's going to be close. And then he's able to get through and makes that extra effort. We'll see where he's marked down. They're saying right about the 38.
Yeah, I don't know about that spot there. I thought that he fell forward for a lot more than that. But that's going to be 4th down.
We'll need to go about half a yard.
Calhoun's all the way out to the numbers.
And they're going to go for it. Zarka under center. Allen right behind him. Zarka keeps it, pushes forward, and it looks like he's got the yard he needed.
I've never seen Calhoun come that far out onto the field. Thought he was going to get under center and do it himself. You just see Utah State's doing a great job kind of stifling that push, but it's just the second effort, and you see the pusher, Owen Allen, comes in. There's Calhoun. He wants it. Look at him. I thought he might get under center.
He was ready to jump in the huddle.
I like the way the back of his hat says Calhoun like it's a flight helmet.
Allen dropped by Chris Joe, the freshman.
Chris Joe's been really impactful as a freshman at a Liberty High School, Brentwood, California. He flies around, a young, promising player for this Aggies defense, and that is exactly what they need on first down to slow down the momentum and the timing of the Falcons' offense.
2nd and 10. Inside of 4 minutes left in the half. Flea flicker action. Zarka downfield in a double coverage, and it's intercepted. The trickery denied as Noah Avenger. Second straight game with a pick.
Avenger, one of those transfers over from New Mexico with Bronco Mendenhall. They get nothing on first down, so they decide to go into the trick bag. Too much pressure there for Zarka to see that Harris was double covered. And they are taking a look at the hit on the quarterback, which is what they just announced to everybody in the stadium. Ill-advised throw into double coverage, and the shorter Cade Harris down the field. Avenger easily able to go up and pull it down. But they are going to look at the hit on the quarterback there.
Avenger, an all-conference player in the Mountain West last season, one of the 6 transfers that came with Bronco Mendenhall from New Mexico. Now they're going to check it for targeting.
Now, if he's a defenseless player, and he is, because he's throwing the football there, any impact to the head or neck area is going to be targeting. And
that's what they're reviewing. It's a big moment in this game with the interception. Air Force trying to dial up the trick play, didn't work out, but where is the contact?
Here it is. Steve Strimling's with us, our rules analyst. Steve, what do you see here? We got a shot of it.
Yeah, we do have a good shot. I mean, the contact is not late, and he goes in. He gets his head to the side. He's got to be forcible contact to the head or neck. I don't know that this rises to that level. To me, it doesn't look like targeting.
Yeah, he put the hands on the chest there, right? Yeah, Tyree Morris is the DN we're looking at here.
Correct.
That would really bail out Air Force on what was a well-executed defensive play. But Steve says the head was a little to the side, and it doesn't rise to the level of targeting.
Yeah, it's hard contact. I mean, he's going back there. You're making a play on the quarterback, but it was clear Morris at least acknowledged what he needed to do. Now, forcible contact to the head or neck area, that's what we're looking at. But Morris, the transfer from Lafayette, All-Patriot League a year ago. Now in his 3rd game at Utah State.
That was my very first time ever talking to Steve.
Yes,
you know, I've been a Mike Pereira guy my whole life, and then Blandino came, and that was hard, you know. And now Steve, it's wonderful.
After review, there is no foul for targeting. Ruling on the field is an interception. 1st and 10, Utah State.
And Steve Strimling 1 for 1 here late night Mountain West action on FS1. So this is the rule that you were talking about, Petros. It's the forcible contact.
Yeah, and you don't have to lower the crown of the head when the guy's throwing the ball or if he's considered defenseless. So that's why that one was pretty subjective.
I mean, it looked like there was contact to the head area, but it's the forcible word, and he did put the hands out. Here's 1st and 10 now for Barnes, and Utah State goes play action, finds Pagan, who he hit once for a touchdown already. Now a 1st down to the 39.
That time, Roger Jones Jr., the free safety, one of those sophomores, was a little bit closer to Pagan and was able to make the tackle. Last time he got smoked for a long touchdown. 13-yard gain, though, on 1st down.
Another play action over the top. They go to the air, trying to get it to Boyd, but overthrown.
That time they're trying to pick on another sophomore, Corey Johnson, the sophomore out of Glendale, Arizona. They know that they have some inexperience in that Air Force secondary. Barnes has some weapons on the perimeter. They're trying to exploit them.
You have a good quarterback in Barnes. You have good receivers, Boyd and Pagan especially. Kevin McGibbon, the coordinator of the offense that came from San Jose State last year, where they were a top 5 passing team in the country, helps to have Nick Nash, who ended up winning the receiver triple crown. And now trying to throw it a little bit. It's going to be a keeper there as Barnes just drops Sagan. Sagan gets credit for the tackle, but that was a muscle play by the quarterback for Utah State. And Sagan is down.
Yeah, I think he got the wind knocked out of him a little bit there. Barnes was right into his chest. And, you know, you just don't expect a quarterback to seek out contact this way, but this guy's a state champion wrestler, and he just put his right forearm with the ball in it right into the chest of Mikhail Sagan, another one of those sophomore DBs. And looks like he got a lot of the wind taken out of him there.
As he's being attended to, I mean, Barnes, blue-collar guy, for those that don't know the story, walk-on at Utah State for a town of 1,400 people.
Here it is again, just delivering the blow, and you see Sagan doing a good job of getting him down. And get the wind knocked out of you like that in a football game, you feel like you have to hold on to the ground because it's moving like an amusement park. But once you get your breath to you, things usually settle down. But Barnes not an easy guy to tackle, and he makes it known, and it gets harder and harder to tackle him if he keeps coming like that in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Whatever stereotype you might have of a quarterback and a linebacker, Barnes a lot more like a linebacker, the way he plays. Again, the nickname the Pig Farmer, grew up on a farm in his hometown, Milford, Utah. Had to take care of the chores. That meant protecting those pigs. And everything that came along with that blue-collar spirit stays with him. Now he goes to Jacobs in the backfield on 3rd down, gets the 1st.
Nice job by Jacobs, and that's really what I like to see from his game. You want to throw the ball to him and move him around, but you got to be able to trust that he's going to be able to carry the ball between the tackles and convert 1st downs. That time he does. Now they have both impactful tailbacks, Jacobs and Davis, in the backfield flanking Barnes.
1st and 10 inside Falcon territory. Approaching the 2-minute timeout. They get it off in time. Handoff to Jacobs. Cuts through the defensive Air Force to the 40 at the 2-minute timeout. Utah State making a push on their home field, up by 4, trying to make it a 2-possession game. Laying the wood, the quarterback bringing the intensity. You can feel it tonight in Utah. Look at Big Blue getting right in there with the herd of the campus of Utah State.
You know, he's one of the early college students to have a nose ring.
I think it works for him. Barnes goes to the air. First play out of the 2-minute timeout was looking downfield for Pagan, incomplete.
Yeah, they really like their matchups on the edge. You can see Kevin McGibbon continually trying to pick on those perimeter players, sophomores, most of them, except for Levi Brown, the senior in the Air Force secondary.
It's also trying to get to know you with Kevin McGibbon and Bryson Barnes. It's just their 3rd game week together. Trying to convert on 3rd down, and Jacobs unable to get there as Hubert brings him down. So Utah State, who's really struggled on 3rd down this year, 2 for 5 in this game, came in converting only 16% of their third downs, which is 132nd of 136 in college football as Air Force calls their first timeout. So now with the timeout here, let's check in with Mike Hill, see what's coming up at halftime.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, Georgia and Tennessee in a back-and-forth top 15 offensive classic. South Florida looking to pull off another upset at Miami. Plus, number 12 Clemson at Georgia Tech and a fantastic finish that came down to a game-winning field goal with no time on the clock. Trenton Petros, we'll see you at the half.
Looking forward to that. What a day of college football it has been, and we're not done tonight. Late night college football in the Mountain West, as good as it gets. Oregon put on a showcase at Northwestern earlier. What a ball game. Neyland, Georgia ends up winning it, game-winning field goal. And then the upset of the day, Georgia Tech takes down Clemson, 24-21.
That Georgia Tech quarterback is an animal. He's a war daddy. This is going to be an interesting drive for Air Force with 1:40, a couple of timeouts to work with.
Rico's punt goes out of bounds. So we've already looked at a lot of what's happened in the past today. So how about predicting the future, Petros?
I forgot to shave. Aiden Childs, I've seen enough. 3 games. He's elite. The #1 quarterback in the transfer portal last year is fulfilling his potential this year. Beware of the bees. We were just talking about those Yellow Jackets and what they do. And for Big Noon, I believe Salt Lake gets raided by the Red Raiders coming up next week. Look out for the upset, Kyle Whittingham.
We are in the Beehive State.
They might feel very comfortable, except they're not coming.
The bees are coming after my tacos. I got at the Latino Festival today in downtown Logan. It was lovely. Up the middle, they go to Dylan Carson, who gets a big gain all the way to the 33.
Beautiful gaping hole for Dylan Carson to exploit. You see him right into the line of scrimmage on the right side. Beautiful block by Jack Burnett to set the tone there.
17-yard carry. Now they go to the air. Zarka, nowhere to go, gets rid of it, and incomplete with a lot of pressure all over the place. Tyree Morris, namely. And now they're going to see if this is grounding. He was in the pocket. And there comes the flag.
Yeah, this is hard for Air Force. The 2-minute drill is not their strong suit. To try to move the ball quickly down the field, that's just not what they do. And remember, Utah State gets the ball to lead the second half. Why is this grounding? Well, it's behind the line of scrimmage, and there's nobody over there. And he's still in the tackle box.
The last drive for Air Force, they ran 13 straight running plays before finally going to the air, and what happened? They threw an interception. So
yeah.
The passing game, again, not the strong suit. They have big play ability, but they want to keep it on the ground with that triple option, and Calhoun is pleading that he was trying to find an intended target.
Offense. Lost down foul. Second down.
It's the first penalty tonight for Air Force.
They have to play disciplined football. That's their MO. If they have a lot of penalties, they're not going to have a chance. They've had a couple mistakes here. The interception you mentioned, the fumble after the opening kickoff.
Yeah, and then again, deep in the half, this matters. They took 10 seconds off the clock here, so now the clock all the way down to 1:03. And at this point, you're just hoping you don't give Utah State the ball back with time.
Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining could be here a while, depending on how Air Force handles these next couple plays.
2nd and 19. And they're going to try to bleed clock, understandably. Just trying to keep the ball out of Barnes' hands at this point. They go up the middle to Carson. Marginal gain. And now here comes the whistle and a timeout called by Utah State.
Timeout.
About 31 seconds to go.
Timeout in the second half. First half. 30 seconds in left.
How about what's coming up on Thursday? It is a special baseball night in America on Fox. Aaron Judge and the Yankees continue their fight for an AL East crown against the Orioles. Or the Cubs take on the Reds. Check local listings for the game in your area Thursday, 6:30 Eastern on Fox. Great crossover time of year. These Utah State fans happy their team is up. Troy Calhoun trying to make sure it's not by more. We know they like to run the ball. 5 pass attempts, 0 yards, and an interception.
Yeah, and remember the touchdown from Zarka was technically a pass play. He had Cade Harris open and then just decided to tuck it. But yes, the secondary for Air Force has been an issue, and then the secondary of Utah State has proven an issue for Air Force trying to throw the ball. They're a lot faster to it and a lot more reactionary to these throws and in a better position than Bucknell was in the opener for the Falcons.
3rd and 15, that's Harris in motion. They go to Owen Allen. Owen Allen is going to get to the 40, trying to get the first down. He's going to be just short. It's going to bring up 4th and 1.
This will be an interesting call for Calhoun, because do you trust yourself to get 1 yard if you're Air Force? Utah State calls a timeout, of course. Big hole again, and a nice block by Alec Falk, the left guard, to spring him there.
Ends up being 14 yards for Owen Allen.
Really huge. It's just that 1 extra yard is what they needed. I do expect them to punt the ball here, but Calhoun might think twice.
They'll put 2 seconds back on the clock, so 25 seconds.
And no more timeouts for Utah State. So if you get a good punt, you should be faithful in your ability to play defense if you're Air Force and prevent them from scoring 1 more time. Because remember, again, the Aggies get the ball back, and Barnes has looked pretty good throwing.
They will punt, and it's Freer. Air Force won their last 4 games of last season. Got a win in week 1, trying to win their 6th in a row and do so on the road. Also make sure that they can prevent Utah State from another chance at points here before halftime. Tracking that one down deep inside to the 1. What a punt, Freer. All conference for a reason, but a flag after the 59-yard punt. He had a 60-yarder earlier tonight. If that was 60, it would have been in the end zone.
Troy Calhoun back out to the numbers. Chasing the white hat down, trying to figure out what the call is.
During the kick, holding receiving team number 25, penalty to force half the distance, 1st down.
A holding out there on the edge with the Gunners.
Well, now, I mean, if you're Utah State, you got to be careful. You're all the way pinned back to the 1.
Take a knee.
12 seconds. Well, it'd be tough to do that. You'd end up getting 2 points.
Quarterback sneak.
Just push it forward and avoid any kind of trouble. What a job, though, by Freer, the punter. Punters need some love, and Freer is one that deserves it. #1 punter in Air Force history. Air Force, 2 timeouts left, but more importantly, Utah State doesn't have any remaining. There with 12 seconds to go before the half. See if Barnes can push it forward and not backwards. He does just that, and that is going to be, well, it should take us into halftime. Officials call it dead, and now Troy Calhoun says, no, we're going to make you earn it. Calls a timeout.
Timeout. Air Force.
1 more left with 3 seconds to go. And the Herd fans not crazy about it. We'll put a little bit more time on the clock, but coming into the season, the preseason poll in the Mountain West Conference had, you know, these 2 teams right around the middle of the pack. Air Force at 6, Utah State at 9. Petros, I get the sense that that number 9 ranking in the preseason poll was more about a question of the unknown.
Yeah, they had such
Mendenhall.
a weird transitional year last year, but once I saw them against UTEP and then against A&M, I think Utah State's a lot better than that. San Diego State's been struggling. Wyoming's a little bit better. I'm worried for people about Fresno State because Matt Entz is a mean guy, and I mean, that's another tough, hard-nosed team, just like this Air Force and Utah State team.
Still going with it. And now another timeout will be called by Calhoun. It was Fletcher who gets credit for the tackle on Bryson Barnes. Yeah, they went into that Texas A&M game Utah State did last week. I mean, they expected to win it. They didn't. They lost 44-22, but had a respectable showing in SEC country.
Now, they didn't look helpless, and they looked okay at the line of scrimmage, other than giving up so many sacks.
So this will be the final timeout. They'll put 3 more seconds back on the clock. So 6 seconds to go for Barnes just to avoid turning it over. 14-10 our score here. One more play to go before halftime.
On the field, replaying it down. Timeout, Air Force, 30 seconds.
Reminder coming up at halftime, the State Farm Halftime Show. Mike Hill and the crew are going to break down all the action across college football here on this Saturday. So we close out the night. Little Mountain West magic after midnight tonight in the second half coming up. Utah State at home up by 4 right now against Air Force. 2 veteran coaches, winning coaches, 2 of the winningest coaches in all college football. Troy Calhoun for Air Force, Bronco Mendenhall for Utah State, and a winner in Barnes. Been to 2 Rose Bowls. Now gets his opportunity as being the man in his home state of Utah. Utah State has bounced around, but has been able to find Logan home. Trying to find some success for this Aggie program. 3rd down. Barnes scoots out of traffic, gets tripped up. We'll get a couple of yards added to his stat line. Jackson Adams with the tackle, and that's going to be what takes us into halftime. 14-10 Utah State on top at the break against Air Force. It appears we have another stoppage here. Because
they got to reset the chain, so it's a 1st down. There's a 2nd on the clock, and now it's going to run, and everybody's going to leave the field.
All right, so there goes everyone into their locker rooms at the half. Utah State up by 4. Hey, by the way, for him here in this game tonight, as the second half has begun from Logan, with Bryson Barnes and this Utah State Aggie offense will take over.
Now, Bryson Barnes has been a lot of fun to watch. He's just an exciting player, and he's just such a physical player and physical presence. You see him scoring that touchdown, slinging the ball to Pagan, who's been his best receiver. The touchdown to Pagan, beautifully designed play by Kevin McGivern, and then, just taking it out on Mikhail Seekin. Running the ball. They really want to exploit this inexperienced Air Force secondary, see if they get to do that here in the first drive.
Barnes will throw first pass, first play of the second half. He's able to find Pagan, who's had a big game already, ended up with the 1 receiving touchdown for Utah State here in this contest. And, you know, we're seeing Barnes now able to convert the pass play, 7 of 10 now is Barnes. After the 9-yard pickup, he goes back on a play action, and again, it's Pagan, the go-to for the Aggies.
And a lot of cushion there for Pagan from Corey Johnson after the play fake. 2 quick passes, and they are playing quickly.
13-yard reception for Pagan. Now a handoff to Davis, just driving those legs to midfield. 3-yard pickup, Blake Fletcher with the tackle. But how about Braden Pagan? Now over the century mark is Pagan.
He's a good-sized guy, 6'3", 210. Good routes, played really well last week, I thought. against the Aggies at College Station.
Down in motion. Barnes the pass. Who else but Braden Pagan, who had the first or was close to it, needed about a yard, went backwards a couple.
Yeah.
Nick Beckwith brought him down.
Good job by Beckwith to track him down and tackle him behind the sticks. He needed to fall a little forward there, trying to create a little bit too much, but catching that ball with the back to the sticks, he didn't really have a lot of options, but looking sharp early as Bryson Barnes and Kevin McGivern's offense here in the early third quarter.
Third down, which has been a problem for Utah State on the season, and that is an incomplete, but a late flag at the end. That was Corey Johnson in coverage, who may end up being called for pass interference.
Yeah, I thought he was, I don't know if he had him on before, but it looked like he was on time when he attacked the football. But you can see exactly what the Aggies want to do against the Falcons coming out. They want to exploit that passing game.
Defense number 2, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They're trying to get it to the outside shoulder of Braden Pagan. And maybe the hand, yeah, he had a hold of that jersey. But not the forcible contact you would think to draw the flag.
Play action, pass left side, caught by Jacobs. He is brought down out of bounds, and another big gain. Levi Brown, the tackler, 14 yards.
The Aggies definitely have an advantage on the perimeter. Jacobs just another guy who can be as impactful as a receiver, but very good between the tackles as we saw in the first half. Now an empty backfield.
Felt like Utah State did a good job establishing the run game in some sense in the first half, and now it's all to the passing game. Misdirection, they go to Garcia. Garcia's the backup quarterback, breaks the tackle, and gets in! Anthony Garcia threw for a score at Texas A&M, and on another trick play, converts for the Aggies once more.
Kevin McGivern had a lot of fun with this one. Junior Sia, the right tackle, with a great block right there, pulling around and leading through, just creating a space for Garcia, who is a quarterback at a Sacramento, transfer from Arizona, plays wide receiver here. And like you said, they used him last week throwing the ball. They use him this week running the ball from the quarterback position.
You line up Barnes behind the right guard. They give it to the backup quarterback, Garcia, who fights his way through. Utah State up 21-10. Yeah, the dance moves probably work in progress kind of situation for Utah State. The offense is not. 6-play, 75-yard drive in under 2.5 minutes. And then on a little trick play, Anthony Garcia ends up rushing for the score, 17 yards. And now Utah State has a cushion, 21-10 in Logan. It's Air Force playing from behind, tough for them to do. Still 2-possession game. And now they're up over 100 rushing yards, which is just simply to be expected for Air Force at this point.
What a great drive by the Aggies. Barnes was 4 for 4 for 41 yards. Braden Pagan now a career high, 6 catches for 109, and his first career 100-yard receiving game. A lot of identity for both teams is being developed in this first conference game here tonight in Logan.
Well, first drive of the third quarter, first drive of the second half. It's Liam Zarka back under center.
I don't think we're going to see Johnson again after those first couple drives.
This is a handoff to Allen. It's drugged down after a gain of 1. Holmes, who's had a really big game, so was Avenger, both teamed up for that tackle.
Nice job by Avenger. First down and having success on first down is really key. William Holmes, who's been all over the field in the first half, and Avenger coming together to create an adverse second down and long.
Pitch to the right. It's Harris. Harris Nowhere to go.
I thought there was a cutback for Harris a little bit earlier there, but he felt the Aggies defense bearing down on him. Nick Howell, the defensive coordinator, doing a great job, been with Bronco Mendenhall forever. And you see there's no cutback there because Hamlin does a great job of breaking down and getting his arms around Cade Harris and not allowing him to exploit his speed. 3rd and long.
Latham checks in. Cade threw back with Zarka. Zarka goes to the air. Pass to Harris, dropped. Would have been tough for him to get a first down anywhere or any way from that spot on the field. But it incomplete, a 3 and out, and Utah State's getting the ball back.
They're trying an underneath screen there, and if that ball was a little bit more on target to where Harris could have caught it in stride, like we saw him catch the pitch earlier on the big play and get turned up the field behind his blocking, maybe had a little bit more of a chance, but the errant throw from Zarka making Harris get up basically killed the play.
Punter Freer is at 1 of 60, another of 59 in this game. Another booming punt gets picked up by Jacobs, who tries to break a couple of tackles, gets past the 25, but we are seeing Brevin Hamblin stepping things up for this Utah State Aggie defense, rising to the moment on their home field.
Aggies gaining some control here in the second half, and look at how good Barnes was on this drive. 4 for 4, finding Pagan. They got to give some cushion, this Air Force defense. They cannot let him run by him, and then you march him down the field throwing the ball, and they let the backup special package quarterback take it in Anthony Garcia. Beautiful play calling by Kevin McGivern, and we'll see if they got more of that here.
It's Miles Davis, shifty move, beats one tackler. Now another gets to the outside past midfield. Still going before he's shoved out of bounds by Roger Jones Jr.
You want to see Barnes? You saw him earlier putting a shoulder into the chest of a DB. Look at Barnes blocking here, getting a shoulder into Grobe there, and wearing a little bit of a face mask from the D lineman to help spring Miles Davis down the field. They're going to say he stepped out a little bit earlier.
Ends up being a 30-yard gain from where it looked like he stepped at the 43. Where they'll mark it. JT Temesco a little slow to get up as he's helped off to the sidelines for Air Force.
These guys have been beat up, these inexperienced DBs. Roger Jones, Corey Johnson, Temesco, Beckwith. They've been wearing it here in the secondary from what is a very athletic Aggies offense and perimeter players.
For most of these guys at Air Force, this is just their second collegiate game.
Yeah.
Barnes over the middle, hits the tight end Sturzer.
Josh Sturzer, Salt Lake City, Taylorsville High School, home of the Warriors. He's a guy that they've wanted to get more involved. They also have Brock Lane at tight end. Finding him in the seam there.
It's Allen. Marginal gain. Go back to Sturzer for a second. How about this, Petros? The older brother of Josh Sturzer is married to Bryson Barnes' sister. So they're like family members.
A lot of that here with Bronco Mendenhall. He's had so many. It's a lot like Troy Calhoun. Both these coaching staffs and teams are very similar in that they have a lot of the same people around a long time to keep the same traditions and to keep the same standards.
Play action. Pass goes over to Noah White, freshman. Beats a man and gets to the 11.
Nice play by the young running back, Noah White, 5'9", 190 pounds. Gets some momentum catching the ball, running inside. Catches Roger Jones in no man's land. And Utah State really cooking offensively. They already have 124 yards in the second half of offense.
Barnes keeps it himself. Barnes finds that seam and scores.
Well, he marches them down this time, and they don't have Anthony Garcia finish it with the quarterback run. They have Barnes finish it. He takes it over to the strong side after the fake, coming back to the left. Steps over the tackle of Roger Jones Jr. Nice run right up the hash to score.
PAT is up and good. When you got a quarterback like Bryson Barnes, there is no way this is the 9th best team in the Mountain West Conference. Quarterback like this, tough runner, and shifty as well, gets in, 28-10. Utah State has found another level here to begin the second half. 28-10 Aggies. Having some fun on that sideline, Petros. I know you're enjoying that.
Yeah. Bunch of guys arm in arm singing Miley Cyrus.
I mean, it's Mountain West Magic after midnight. That's where we're at right now. 28-10, Utah State. As the kick is into the end zone. You know, we saw Josh Sturzer have a nice catch in that last drive. He came to Logan a boy. He will leave Logan a man. How about Josh Sturzer through the years? Clean
Wow,
cut.
it's like that old Michael Jackson video that premiered on Fox when I was a kid.
26 years old, one of 14 players 26 or older in college football.
Some of these guys know a lot of fight songs. Sturzer, only one.
Josh Johnson is back in at quarterback.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see him, but with his downfield throwing ability, we've seen Zarka not really able to muster that part of it. Air Force has got to do something. They need to save their defense. Utah State right now averaging 7.9 yards per play, almost 8 yards a play. They have got to settle things down and find a way to get some first downs.
Josh Johnson was the starting quarterback in this game for Air Force. Had 2 rough drives, had a tough time with the snap a couple of times. One of them led to a turnover that eventually became Utah State points. As Carson Tujay brings him down after the first, but after that, it's been all Zarka. That said, down 28-10, you need to go to the air. Johnson has the better arm. They haven't completed any passes as a team, 0 for 6. But you got to try to something through the air.
Yeah, and Zarka just wasn't hitting any open guys. They just need to get some rhythm back going on offense. We'll see if Johnson can find it.
Johnson goes to the air, over the middle, is able to get it to Cade Harris. And there's the first completed pass of the night. A good one for Josh Johnson.
That one was on point. Cade Harris only 5'8", so you got to get it to him around his chest, and there he is open. And that ball is delivered very well. Dylan Tucker defending just a little late to it. Big shot in the arm for the Falcons.
Yeah, 36-yard gain. Here they go from the pistol. Man in motion is Harris. Harris has the football. Harris gets through 2 tacklers and spins his way for a first down.
That's the old Swiss Air Force knife. We see him catch the ball down the field. Takes a lot of good wind to have a 30-yard plus pass reception and then come back around and run the end around. Good patience following his blocking. Terrence Gist with a good block there leading through, and Air Force able to threaten here and find some stability offensively.
Didn't really see Gist in the first half. Here he is now in the second. Takes the give, barrels forward for a few, and gets to the 14-yard line.
Gist, known on the team as a special teams zealot. Got some good run against Bucknell, 7 carries a couple weeks ago. And now they can run some clock. You see the Aggies defense breathing a little bit. Cool out Barnes on the sideline and see if the Falcons can find a way to score in the red zone here.
2nd and 7 for Josh Johnson, the quarterback. His first drive of the second half. Just 3rd of the game for him. Running the option, keeping it, diving forward. And there to break it up was John Miller.
Yeah, interesting. Great play by John Miller. Interesting read by Johnson. Usually, if the give is wide open and you miss the give, you follow him into the hole. The give was not wide open. It got blown up, but he still followed him into the hole.
He needs like credit for 2 tackles on that.
Yeah, great job by John Miller, just busting up the whole thing, leading the team with tackles coming into this game.
And the Oregon State transfer, huge part of what's going on for this Utah State defense. Here's 3rd and 6, big play. Johnson, the pitch to the outside. It's Cade Harris fighting forward, and a flag on the field. He gets in, but a flag.
Well, you just felt when Cade Harris had that momentum on the pitch that he was going in. It looked like there was some kind of penalty out there on the edge.
Holding offense, number 10. 2-yard penalty from the start of the foul. 3rd down.
Yeah, it was on the edge on Trey Robertson, the wide receiver. Just a beautifully designed play. Nice pitch by Johnson. And yeah, it's Avenger, and he's holding on a little bit to that. I don't think Avenger was going to make that tackle anyway. He did have a hold of that jersey, but a little bit of a quick trigger on that flag, in my opinion.
It was so tough. He had the 1st down, just trying to fight to get into the end zone. Now a pitch goes to Harris on the right side. Nowhere to go. Swarming defense in the Beehive State for Utah State.
Noah Flores, one of the excellent corners for Utah State out of Sandy, Utah. Getting over there. Harris a little bit hesitant there to cut back, and that allowed the Aggies to swarm.
4th and 5, they're going to go for it. They've converted both of their 4th down attempts.
Check out Harris out there on the hash, top of your screen, coming in motion.
Johnson, the pitch to Harris on the outside, has the 1st down. Oh, that was close, but he got it by half a yard.
And that's 3 carries in a row, plus the long catch and another big carry. Cade Harris can roll, and he can continue to roll. Well-designed play, and he gets into the chest of those Aggies defenders, finds a way to get that 1st down.
It's Allen in the backfield. Through to the right of Josh Johnson. 1st and goal from the 7. It's to Allen. Allen drags a defender with him, gets to about the 3. Noah Flores, credit the tackle.
Now they're very comfortable to slowly, like molasses, push their way onto the field while the clock ticks again. All of this keeps their inexperienced secondary on the sideline and keeps Barnes on the sideline.
It was actually John Miller who made that last stop. He's been everywhere. 2nd and goal from the 3. Air Force needs a score here. Up the middle, Owen Allen, can he get in? Waiting for the sign, and he's short, just short by a nose.
Josh Johnson with the long throw to Cade Harris. He's done a good job of getting back in here and controlling this Air Force offense. Well done by Tyree Morris to make that stop.
3rd and goal, keeper, Josh Johnson. Can he get in? Boy, he might be short again.
Yeah, I don't think he got it. A really nice, stalwart hold.
Wow, so after converting 4 of the first 5 3rd downs, Air Force is now 0 for their last 7, brings 4th down and goal.
Everybody huffing and puffing out there, a lot of tired bodies. A long Air Force drive, and you know they're going for it here.
They have to go about a foot. Johnson gives it to Allen, net at the line, it's close. Ball still down, it's free. Looks like Utah State's on it. A stop no matter what.
Well, he reached it out, and he might have lost it doing that. Air Force is calling a touchdown. John Miller with the recovery.
Timeout on the field.
And recovers it for a touchback. Whoa. What a shift.
So let's see what happens here. Short yardage situation. Owen Allen gets in there and reaches it out with one hand and loses it. He's not down, but did he reach it over before he lost it? That's going to be tough to see.
Yeah, it was Hamlin that knocked it free.
I mean, I thought it was in his hand and he reached it over, and then they slapped it out, but that is going to be tough. We do have Steve with us.
Let's see what Steve Strimling has to say about this play. It's real close, Steve. What do you see?
Yeah, 100%. He does reach over. In this last shot, we can get an idea that he's got that ball extended basically to the backside of a defender, and you can see that defender's in the end zone. They can look at it that way and put people in certain positions and piece it together. In my view, they don't have a shot we haven't seen down the line. There's one coming up. I don't know if this will tell us 100%, but it looks like he extends it over before he gets hit out.
Steve, I think they're going to overturn this.
I agree. We might be 2 for 2.
Look at us, Steve.
You guys are on fire today. I leave it to the professionals.
We're like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin all of a sudden. What a great duo.
So on the field, it's called a fumble, and Utah State on the touchback will get it back with a lot of breathing room. What they're reviewing now is, did Owen Allen get into the end zone? And it looked like he did from our vantage point. It's real close.
Always really dangerous in a short yardage situation to extend that ball because you're basically exposing it for the defense. But it's such a fine line. And once that ball breaks the plane, and we have all the camera shots, and we have Steve, and we have the guys in the booth, and everybody hears the call.
The runner extended the ball over the goal line, touchdown.
That is a dramatic change. Owen Allen into the end zone. And you feel like for Air Force, they absolutely had to score on that trip. Otherwise, they're in a lot of trouble. Now we got ourselves a ball game.
You see that beautiful shot right there from our crew. Allen able to extend that. That doesn't take away what a great play it was to force the fumble and create the chaos for John Miller, who's been their best defender, or one of them, in this game. And a little bit of breathing room for Owen Allen as Troy Calhoun, the fullbacks coach, was debriefing him on the sideline right after that play. It's going to be at a two-point try now.
2 minutes and 21 seconds left in the third quarter. It's Zarka back out at quarterback here as they go for 2. So now we'll see the duo of quarterbacks used sporadically here. It's Zarka, the keeper. He stops short, bounces out of it, pushes forward, and he's brought down just shy. And this may be reviewed.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at this again.
Media timeout. Timeout on the field.
So Zarka thought he was in. From above, it looked like he was in. The knee was down, marked short. Flores gets the tackle.
Seen a lot of this. Second effort from Air Force. The fake to Gist, and then he follows him in. Nothing there. Bounces out. Nice sure tackle from Noah Flores, but thought it was over.
We'll sort it out when we come back here to Good Game from Logan. The extra effort of Owen Allen gets Air Force into the end zone as Bronco Mendenhall tries to preserve a 12-point lead on his home field. 2:21 to go in this third quarter. With a bit of controversy, a couple reviews. One fumble that was overturned and changed to a touchdown, which gave the 6 points to Air Force. But then as they went for 2, it looked like Zarka might have been in. It was real close. It ends up not being reviewed. Steve, what'd you make of that 2-point conversion and the no review there? How'd you see it?
Yeah, you know, they didn't bring the referee over to review, but every play is reviewed by replay, and this is a potential on a try, a scoring play. So my opinion is replay must have had a shot where they can confirm the ruling on the field. If they couldn't confirm it, they'd want to bring the referee over and make sure they went through all angles. I think what we saw is we had 2 different shots. When the elbow hit, the ball looks like it's over. The issue was with the left knee down, and the shot from the back appears that it wasn't. You would want to piece those together to get a good look.
Meanwhile, Bryson Barnes converts on the pass to Brady Boyd. As we thank Steve for that insight.
Yeah, I think they might have missed that one. You know, it looked like neither of his legs were down. A 17-yard gain as Boyd, who's got some great body control with another catch. Barnes is carving these guys up in the passing game in the third quarter.
Yeah, Barnes has just been a different guy. He had that one run where he basically took out an Air Force defender, knocked the wind out of him, and ever since he's come back to start the second half and has just been a tremendous passer. Brady Boyd now gets a little bit of wiggle room. He tiptoed on the sideline for a big play against Texas A&M. That time a tiptoe results in another big play. Blake Fletcher finally able to tackle him after 19 yards.
And that was Seekin again, the guy that got hit hard and had to be walked off the field early by Bryson Barnes. That time exploited on the cutback by Brady Boyd.
Barnes to Davis. Davis chugging along. Gains about a yard. Jalen Reese there to bring him down.
And this is very tough for the Air Force defense. They've got to find experience. That's the name of the game for them. This is not a team that does NIL or transfer portal or anything, and their ability to compete under Troy Calhoun year in and year out and win games is uncanny. But right now their secondary is being exploited, and Bryson Barnes is having a field day in the second half.
2nd and 9. Empty backfield for Barnes. Over the middle, and it's nearly intercepted. Wow, in and out of the hands of Mustel, and Hubert was right there, and it was Sturzer that couldn't hang on.
Yeah, this was a big opportunity for the Falcons to get off the field and get the offense back on there. Just slips through the hands.
This could be a free play. It is a free play. Barnes rolling out. 3rd and 9. Why not take a shot downfield? Looking for Boyd. One-handed catch. You got to be kidding me. It was Pagan. Wow. Flags everywhere. Pagan says no problem and hauls in a tremendous touchdown reception.
Well, first the free play on the aggressive clap gets the nose guard to step, and now Barnes, veteran player, knows what he wants to do. Sees that he has Pagan able to use his hands there while he's being face guarded by Nick Beckwith, and comes down with the play where they were talking about communication and getting everybody on the same page. They get Peyton Zadroik to jump. They get the free play, and they find their excellent receiver, Braden Pagan, way down the field. What an answer by the Aggies.
2 touchdowns tonight for Pagan. I don't know how he caught that football. That was impressive by the UCLA transfer. PAT is up and good. And now Air Force running out of time with 15:25 to go in this game. Just 25 seconds to go in the quarter.
Just taking a shot because he knows it doesn't matter. Beckwith loses the ball, but Pagan was able to see it the whole time. You see him there tracking it, and he's just able to position his body as the ball came down. He is having a career night, as is Bryson Barnes.
Bryson Barnes, Petros, you brought this up a little bit earlier. You wonder how could he possibly slip out of Salt Lake and end up here in Logan. 9 of 10 for 145 yards and a touchdown in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I thought he proved himself over and over again on Kyle Whittingham's team, but it just was not to be. Ends up here in Utah State, and it is a very successful relationship, especially with Bronco Mendenhall. And Coach Calhoun knows he's got to find another way to answer offensively, to eat clock into the 4th quarter, and then hope for a turnover or some kind of special teams windfall, because playing from behind is not what the Falcons do well.
Kick into the end zone where Air Force getting it back here at Utah State. And Petros, you also bring up just the opponents Utah State has had to deal with to begin the season. It's been a very different look 3 straight weeks.
Yeah, and it helps your team grow. It's not easy. They open up with UTEP, a big spread-out team, and then they go to the wealthiest SEC team in the world, Texas A&M and College Station, and get beat, but perform okay. And now everybody will tell you when you play a service academy, it's an entire different week of preparation. And Bronco Mendenhall said it, there's just not enough time to prepare for an Air Force team. I think they're doing about as well of a job as you can imagine under the circumstances. That's three very different type of opponents to start the season. It could only help the Aggies as they continue through.
It was fun talking with Bronco Mendenhall about that as Johnson gets the toss to the outside. Cade through. He said the focus had to change like it was a NASCAR pit crew from the Texas A&M game to getting ready for Air Force, and that is going to take us to the end of the third quarter where Bryson Barnes and Utah State have put on a clinic in the second half. What a third quarter for the Aggies. Utah State pulling away 35-16 here on their home field, Maverick Stadium, Merlin Olsen Field. Feeling good at Logan. My, how things can change in a hurry. Brody Bueno so close to changing everything. Howell there as well. And then this touchdown pass. You give any kind of room to Bryson Barnes, just throw it up. Pagan's gonna bring it in. What a score. And Air Force all of a sudden feel like they're in trouble. 2nd and 2, they go to the air. This one is caught. Big pass to Quinn Smith. It's Josh Johnson trying to set the tone for the Falcons to start the fourth quarter.
Josh Johnson looking sharper, throwing the ball down the field. Started the game struggling with the snap. That time, beautiful strike to Quinn Smith, getting Air Force immediately in plus territory after the quick answer from Utah State. The Falcons trying to get it back. Again, they need to eat clock, keep that secondary on the sideline.
It's not Air Force's style, but they got to try to score quickly over the middle. Man is open, it's Harris. Down inside the 5, back-to-back big plays through the air for the Falcons.
Cade Harris, South Weber, Utah, Roy High School, Royal. He had two wide open guys up the seam. Too much attention to the run. Fleischman, the tight end, and Harris open for Johnson, and now all of a sudden it's 1st and goal.
Trent Calhoun told us how effortlessly the ball comes out of his hand. We're seeing it as Allen gets met by John Miller and stuffed.
He's really emerged through his play. John Miller has playing really close to the line of scrimmage in that buck position in Nick Howell's defense, excuse me.
3-touchdown game. Air Force trying to make it 2. 2nd and goal from the 7. 6 rather. Keeper still slipping through. Johnson to the end zone. Ball came out at the end there. He looked like he was down. That's the official signaling anyway.
Short of the goal line. 3rd down.
So Johnson was short.
We talked about the dangers of extending that ball. Johnson didn't look like he had any chance to get close to the end zone, but then cuts up. And there he is extending that ball. Very dangerous.
Boy, and the Utah State fans had got a chance to see the replay on the video board here. Thought that should have been a fumble and that Utah State should have it back, and that's what they're going to review.
Timeout.
William Holmes was there to nudge it free.
And Johnson has hit the sideline already. He's upset. Maybe he knows that he was not down. We're giving Steve a workout here in the second half. Is that knee down before the ball is out, Steve? It looks like it might be.
Yeah, to me, to us it does here, looking at those shots, that the knee's down, he's still extending, and during the extension it lets go. But you know, this is something they stop. They're going to want to get another shot. But from the views we saw, certainly looks like that knee was down, in control of the ball.
Just trying to watch it and see where is that right knee. It looks like it's down there, and you see the football is short but still in the hands the quarterback, Josh Johnson.
Bronco Mendenhall kind of feeling like he's getting the short end of the stick on a few of these, not the two-point conversion. But a lot of official reviews here as the game has gone on. You usually don't expect that with a lot of smash mouth football and a lot of basic run plays, but Air Force taking it to the air and getting close to the goal line. Couple of balls have slipped out.
After review, the runner's right knee was down to 1 yard line. Third down.
Good efficient amount of time taking care of that.
Yep.
And Steve is, I mean, he's perfect. Batting 1,000. This guy's unreal. Tell Pereira to stay home.
Fitting for Sterling to be batting 1,000. William Holmes, former baseball player, by the way, who had the forced fumble taken away from him on the review. It's Owen Allen that's in the backfield. And Zarka at quarterback. Zarka the better runner, at least in terms of short yardage situations. That's why he's there. He keeps it himself, fights his way forward, and it looks like he's in. Liam Zarka keeping the Air Force dream alive on the road at Utah State.
Very efficient, quick scoring drive when they really needed it by the Air Force Falcons. Everybody moving forward. A really nice block by Cade Harris, who we've seen do so much catching and running the ball for the Falcons.
Troy Calhoun telling Utah State, try stopping the Diesel. That's the nickname for the offensive line. They're going to go for two, and Zarka's back there at quarterback. Last two-point try, stop short.
That was just a straight carry to Owen Allen, who's back there again.
This time a pitch to the right side. It's Harris, breaks the tackle and gets in. And the Falcons convert the two-point conversion. Just when you think Air Force is down, they fight back and climb back into this ball game. Muscle for Air Force, flexing it, but they're down 11. Utah State get it back. Air Force scores and converts for two to make it an 11-point game, 12.5 to go, 35-24 Utah State. It's been so tough to try to just slow down Bryson Barnes, who was dominant in the third quarter, and he's going to be getting the ball back here momentarily, but a little pooch kick. Fair catch called at the 30, where Barnes will get it back. And well, when you want to take a look at who's our smoking player of the game, sponsored by Old Trapper, what's your beef? Bryson Barnes. Who else? 15 of 19, 261 yards in the air, another 42 on the ground, and 4 touchdowns tonight.
I'm really surprised that the 2 rushing TDs is his career high that he's had in this game. I would think that he's had much more than that, but he's run this offense really efficiently. He's found Braden Pagan and Brady Boyd more here in the second half, and Air Force is just having a lot of trouble. Can't get any pressure on him, and they can't really cover the receivers on the perimeter efficiently.
For what it's worth, it's also the most passing yards Barnes has had as a Utah State Aggie. Did have a game at Utah where he had 320 in the air. Keeps it on the ground that time. But you just have to admire the leadership of Bryson Barnes and the communication with Kevin McGibbon. If there's a play that McGibbon is talking to him about, he doesn't like it, he has no problem saying that, holding his teammates accountable in different situations. Being a leader, having the tough conversations, a veteran who's been there. And now trying to lead this Utah State program as one of the better quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the Mountain West.
Well, he's looking the part in this one. Third and short, opportunity for the Falcons to get off the field.
Talked about this a lot tonight. Third down has been a problem for Utah State on the season. Not so much tonight. They're 4 of 7. Barnes the keeper. And he gets brought down to the backfield. Blake Fletcher there to meet him. And the Falcons are getting it back.
That is exactly what they needed. It could not have gone better for them. Get off the field and give it back into the hands of the offense. Great job by Fletcher using his strength and pulling Barnes, and that is not easy. Barnes is a big, strong guy that we've been talking about. Gets a little help on the back end of it. Well done, forcing the punt.
So Swiss Air Force knife, as dubbed by my partner. Cade Harris back to return. Fielded. He's going to let it go, actually, and it goes out of bounds around the 12. So a long way for Air Force to go, but Air Force fighting their way back here on the road. Start your Saturday strong with Big Noon Saturday. Utah and Texas Tech battling for the top of the Big 12. It all kicks off 10 Eastern with Big Noon Kickoff live from Salt Lake City, just at I-15. Then it's Texas Tech, Utah only on Fox. Johnson back to throw. Dangerous pass, but it's incomplete. Boy, looked like that was going to be in the hands of Quinn Smith, but unable to hang on. Good job in coverage by Hamblin.
Battle between Hamblin and Smith to get that ball. They've really been exploiting these seams over the middle. There's Smith just running straight down the field and like a skinny post look, and he's got thrown right into the chest of Hamblin and did a good job dealing with the collision and basically preventing an interception.
High snap, Johnson just hangs on to it. And another 3rd and long coming up. Carson Tujay there on the tackle.
That puts him in a very tough position. You know, when you go for the longer throw on 1st down and you don't get it, you got to have a positive gain on 2nd down if you're the Air Force Falcons. As we look at Olaval, the junior, and then Chris Joe, the freshman. See if Johnson can pull anything out here on 3rd down.
3rd and 10, drops back. Now keeps it himself, goes to the ground, has the 1st down. Josh Johnson making a broken play, look like a design QB draw for a 1st.
Lost his towel, but that was about it. Did a great job here. Drops back, recognizes the blitz, gets a great blitz pickup from Harris. Can't slide, knows he needs the 1st down, so takes a little bit of an outside route around John Miller to get there.
First and 10. Allen stops the line of scrimmage, able to tumble his way forward where Tujay and Olaval team up for the tackle. And all of a sudden, after that last touchdown, Air Force is doing just enough to hang in here.
Yeah, they got a chance. They have the ball. They got to stop. That was the key, is to get a stop and have some time, and they do now. But they're going to have to get the ball down the field, and they've been able to do that with the throw tonight.
Johnson running out of time in a hurry, dropped by John Miller.
Well, they can't just let him sit back there in a rocking chair and throw the ball. If Air Force is going to try to exploit the passing game, which they've been able to do in the 2nd half, you got to bring some heat on him, and they do. They bring both linebackers, Olaval and Miller, and both of them get home. Miller first. Nice move around Jack Burnett, the guard. Miller's had a great game.
Air Force just converted a 3rd and 10. Tougher challenge now, 3rd and 15. They've converted their last 3 3rd down attempts. Johnson passes short, trying to give through a little space. Doesn't have much. And a short gain on 3rd and 15. Just a 3-yard pickup.
And a little bit of a decision to be made here, as they're going to keep the offense out on the field at 4th down, given the score and the time in the 4th quarter. Punt team got up off the bench, and so did the defense.
That was a 3rd down play design. It almost made it seem like they were going to take a stab at fourth down anyway. They've converted all 4 of their fourth down tries so far in this game. Trying to go 5 for 5. Johnson looking right side, fires the pass, and it is caught. Trey Roberson was there for the first down. Just when you think Air Force is out, they convert even amid the pressure of John Miller.
What about Josh Johnson and his passing here in the second half? He had some trouble fumbling. He takes a big hit from Joe. They brought the blitz on the edge. Takes a huge hit, but delivers that beautifully to Roberson for his second catch.
Air Force has had a bit of a clutch gene so far. Can it continue? Oh, there it goes. Intercepted right into D'Angelo Mays' hands. For all the good work Josh Johnson had done, an errant pass gets away, and the Aggies are loving it.
They brought 3 safeties over from New Mexico and a corner. And that corner, D'Angelo Mays, out of Syracuse, Utah. And he's just standing there. That ball is way too high. And it's a gift right between the 1 and the 5 for Mays. And does that end this threat from the Falcons, this later threat in the game? We will see what Barnes and company have in store now that they're in plus territory after the turnover. They responded really well after the turnover in the first half.
First interception of Johnson's career comes at a real tough time. The turnover battle,
Illegal
3 in favor.
12 in formation, Utah State, 5-yard penalty.
That's the second time this has happened to Utah State, and we did talk to Bronco Mendenhall and Kevin McGivern about this. Some communication issues with the new offense, and that's the second procedural type of penalty that they've had. Not going to make Bronco Mendenhall very happy to start out this drive 5 yards behind the sticks.
No, that's going to get cleaned up, though. Bronco Mendenhall is such a good coach, has won everywhere he has been. Barnes is trying to get rid of it, does. We were talking earlier about the path for Bronco Mendenhall and everything that he has been through. And really, this is like a back-to-back startup for him. Started at New Mexico last season, 1 year. They got within a possession of a bowl game, which was an incredible feat. And now here he is, maybe further along.
Much further. Yeah, this Utah State team is much further than New Mexico, but it is a rebuild. They were really in the abyss last year.
Barnes, downfield, able to hit Brady Boyd, and he hung on the sidelines. And the sideline awareness of Brady Boyd is top-notch.
Yeah, he's got great body control. There's no doubt about that. A real late push on defense, and it looked like he was going to get there. Mason Hayes, but Boyd way too in control and had a beat on that ball, kind of like Pagan did on his touchdown catch.
Barnes hands it off to Jacobs. Jacobs trying to bounce to the outside. Short game. Sagan comes up with a tackle, but man, Bryson Barnes having a career day. Braden Pagan having a career day. These two have just been off the charts good for the Aggies.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen from Utah State here against a very formidable opponent really bodes well for the future. To your point earlier, Trent, I think this is a really tough-looking Mountain West team. Fresno is that way to me. UNLV, obviously, after beating UCLA. There's going to be, and of course, we got Boise. It'll be wild this year.
Hand off to Jacobs. Last year it was Boise State at the top.
Boise and UNLV
was close,
yeah.
And then a pretty significant drop-off. Feels very different in the Mountain West this year. Boise State's still the top dog.
Yeah.
But it's a much,
well,
last year, bottom higher.
Utah State with this great quarterback was in transition, losing their coach, Blake Anderson, to controversy. And Fresno was in transition because Jeff Tedford had to step down for medical reasons. And that is not the case this year. So I think it's going to be crazy at the top.
3rd and 4. Barnes sacked. 3rd sack surrendered tonight, which is half as many as the last 2 games. Brody Bueno and Daniel Grobe